Is it true that you sometimes listen to Spacey Jane after a night out solo?
What?
Yes, it's true.
Really?
I don't know how you knew that.
I know everything.
I don't know how the cooking knew that. Have I said that before? God, that's great. Yeah, I sometimes I don't know what it is, but it's when if I'm really drunk, I'll be like, it's something listening to it as not myself.
Yeah,
and I'll be
yeah.
like, what's it like?
You're that blacked out. It's like I'm just not in my own body right now.
Yeah.
What do you think though? Like when you do listen to, if you can remember.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. It's good. Yeah. Caleb and Kieran, welcome to Airing Your Dirty Laundry. How are you guys?
Good.
Pretty great.
Yeah,
Ready to air my laundry.
So we're going to do things a little bit differently today. So normally I interview people and I ask them about themselves, which I will be doing, but we're going to do a track by track on your new album, if that makes sense. So you guys have known each other for quite a long time, right? Since high school.
Mm-hmm.
Is it true that you met through your mums? Is that correct?
Yes. Well, yeah. You tell this story because I don't really know it.
I feel like my mum approached your mum, and I was new to the school. I just moved over from the other side of the country, and she was like, she knew your mum was a teacher and that you were a student at school. She was like, Kieran needs friends. Can you do something about it? And
I don't have any memory of being pushed into being a friend.
That's good.
Just to be
I'm
clear,
glad,
it felt
yeah.
natural to me.
It felt natural. It
Yeah.
wasn't like a...
And here we are.
And we
Yeah.
also, we had a common interest, obviously, in music. So
Yeah.
it was a fairly organic thing. But I know that somewhere along the line, I think our mums conspired.
Okay. And thank God for mums. What are your
Yeah.
mums' names?
My mum's name is Natalie.
Natalie.
Tanya as well.
Tanya.
Yeah.
Thanks, Natalie and Tanya.
Yeah.
I feel like the rest of Australia can thank them as well because we've got this new album. If it wasn't for them, right?
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's funny, there's the kind of like behavior of like when your kids are 4, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like setting up
yeah.
play dates.
How
but
old were you at the time?
I was 15.
I was 16. Oh, I might have been
Perfectly
15.
capable of making friends as a 15-year-old, for what it's
Incredibly
worth.
social, great with people.
Oh, that's a really sweet story though. The new album, if that makes sense, I suppose before we go into it deeply, can you give me like for myself, so I've listened to it just for full transparency and it's amazing. It's really, really
Thank you.
good.
Thank you.
Like congratulations.
Thanks so much.
For myself, I feel like it's got like themes of maybe understanding and coming to terms with understanding things about life and maybe also a sense of like loss in a way. For my, I don't know, you correct me if I'm wrong. But those were sort of like what I was touching on through listening. And I was curious as to what you both thought.
The context for the making of it is that we were in LA and very much out of our comfort zone. It felt a little bit. But for me personally, writing it was very unsure of myself. There's like a lot of vulnerability in stepping out and doing that sort of thing, which plenty of people have done. So a lot of reflection went into it and trying to like figure out who you are without all the reference points that you have in the place that you're from, like Fremantle or where I've been for a decade, where I have all these like touch points where I'm like, oh yeah, I know who I am because of this person and this thing and this place or whatever. So yeah, I think it was a cause for a lot of reflection because of that.
When you say like vulnerability, because you're quite vulnerable in your first 2 albums in all your lyrics, like, would you say that this is your most vulnerable?
I think it's more a feeling of vulnerability, more being uncomfortable and having to put ourselves out there in an environment that was pretty foreign. And whether it's being in writing rooms or it's stepping out and working with new producers and things, and just I think overall, I'm sure plenty of people have had experience when you move to a different country, you're like, and you've done it in New York, you're like, how do I fucking get this? How do I do this? Like everything feels big and overwhelming and confusing.
Yeah, and I don't think we quite understood the gravity of it when we first decided. Like, all we were thinking about was this idea of we want to make a record in LA. We have an eye on this sort of process, a producer, a team, and in the sort of onset things that happened in our life, it was like we just turned it all upside down and like moving to new places, spending all this time away from people, spending so much time just like in brand new situations that I think,
Because when I spoke to Pepper and Ashton, they were saying that, you were all kind of almost writing separately as well because everybody's sort of scattered across different parts of the world, which would be a different thing. And then also for yourself being in LA and things that's here in Australia, I think we get really comfortable and you would know Australia really well as well because it's where you've grown up. But then to go overseas, be in New York, be in LA, working with new people who have worked with because you guys worked with Mike, what's his surname? Crossey. And then you also worked with people, who was it that worked on like Childish Gambino and like Licky Lee?
Sarah Aarons.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So you're working with these people who've worked with these like powerhouse musicians.
Yeah.
Like, is that intimidating?
Yeah, it was definitely at first. I felt, not so much Mike, but because that was sort of later in the piece, but earlier on in those rooms, for me, I was second guessing every idea that I had. just like trying to give lyrical ideas, or what if we did this, and am I even good enough to suggest things like that, which is that's part of that vulnerability versus being here, and especially having only ever just written the song by myself and be like, I like this, and they bring it to everyone, and everyone's like, yeah, cool, or whatever. You gauge the enthusiasm. It was different, sort of figuring it out in real time.
So Caleb, said in an interview before that for yourself, it's like it only made sense, or it's easy to write about like the harder things in life or the more traumatic things in life that have happened. Is that the same on this album?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's I don't know. I always find it weird singing the happy songs. I feel like, and everything I like, I feel like basically all music is mostly about sad shit.
Yeah. I'm the same though.
It's sort of, yeah. Those are the feelings that seem most accessible and at the forefront. And I definitely think it's album.
And also probably things people can relate with the most as well, right? Like,
yeah, no one's happy.
Yeah, but then I guess your sound, and it's the same on certain songs in this album, is you put these deep and thoughtful lyrics to these up-tempo, happy sort of sounds, right? Yeah. And I suppose, I mean, we'll get into it again, like I said, but it feels a bit more like there's some songs on here that are written with that sad sound, more so than the up. Am I right in saying that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the more time you spend like working out a song just like in a session before it goes anywhere, like we didn't have drums or like guitar things to like energize a song straight away, and so it sort of stays down and feels low for quite a while, and then you would Kieran come in, and like song like Whatever or something, which is like, that took us ages to crack that song, but the drums fit in so well that it doesn't feel like it's made it more energetic or up tempo. I think like you understood the assignment, as they say.
You didn't get to like go crazy on it.
Yeah, so you could, but you're like, how do we make this song work? And Ashton's the same, Pepper's the same, and so I think that's why. Yeah, like the tone is set in a way. Some of them, and that's like you can't flip it.
So should we get into the album?
Yeah.
Okay, so the intro, we've got like the breath that it's your breath, right? Is that like intentional of like, okay, like here it's like coming? Is that what? Yeah,
it's like
like here we go.
Let's go.
Right? Yeah.
It's almost like a resignation as well before it's begun too. You're sort of like, well, here it is.
Yeah. The sense that something's about to happen, and then part of Through My Teeth is in the intro. Is that? Am I right?
There's little snippets of all of the songs.
Basically every song.
Just in different forms, whether it be from demos that Caleb's taken years back, or
a lot of voice
parts of the
memos
sessions
that are like pitched into key, where the songs like C flat and then like timed as well, so they like fit in there.
Amazing. And then we go into Through My Teeth, which I guess talk to me as much as you want to talk to me about, but it's about discussing like the strictures of the church that you were in. Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of. It's like that and stepping out of that, I think, is more for me about that sort of 17, 18-year-old period of my life, like decoupling, uncoupling from those feelings and that part of myself and the ensuing like chaos. Because, I don't know, it's weird when I think anyone that's had the experience of being like quite like restricted in certain parts of their life, when those restrictions lift off, you don't really know how to handle that. And so I definitely went through that phase, and I think it's about like feeling like I didn't know who I was, and the people around me had lost the sense of who I was.
Have you sung to that before on any songs, like around the church, or is this sort of the first time you sort of opened up about that?
There's a little bit. Can you? There are
I mean, there are bits and pieces.
I can't really recall it. Yeah, but
I think
nothing is.
This is the most I feel like direct in terms of maybe not so much the church side of things, but that particular late teen identity crisis thing. I feel this is the most specific to that, and I find it seriously relatable. Obviously, we share a history in that move from home to new place to do the thing where it was uni for us, and that kind of stuff that's what drives that song home for me.
Why did you choose this song to open the album with, apart from the intro?
Well, it's partly that we were listening to, like, I had this video of Mike, a producer, playing around with, like, in through my teeth, there's about 100 little arpeggios, like guitars and parts and things like that. And he was just playing through them, picking out the ones that he wanted to keep in the verses. And I just filmed him doing that. I came back to about a month later. I was like, dude, this sounds so amazing, just like that on its own.
Yeah.
Let's make something out of that. And then, I don't know, just the opening lyrics, like, all my love going to count it up. I just sort of like, how that's like, all right, let's like reflect and go through this sort of thing. We're gonna like tally it all basically.
So yes, then we go into Whatever, which
Yeah.
opens with this synthy sound. Have we been using synths a lot in the first two albums?
Not the first one as much. That was like a little bit of tinkering.
Yeah.
And I think it was like
Yeah.
And
Bruce
is,
has seen
Bit of
some great
noodling.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
is this a mic sort of thing that we're like putting, or is it what's?
No, it's like a lot of the songs were written like that. Like that, Whatever was actually just that synth bass all the way through. It's just a Juno bass, and then the sort of like plucky strings that you hear. That it was just that as well in the also on a Juno, and then like a little guitar riff. That's all it was for ages.
Yeah.
So that's actually the foundation of the song in that scenario. But then Mike is amazing at synth sounds and just has amazing analog gear, and like you can run everything through this huge like pedal, so
Yeah.
like patch a wall, and then you can put it through like a Dimension D, which makes mono stereo. It's just like really fun. You can just fuck around
Cool.
for hours.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of that, but it's all like super fast to use. Like you just go. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, you want to try this thing? It's like flick a button, like select the input in Pro Tools, and you're just like playing with any number of amazing synths. So
Totally.
that's probably why there's so much of it on the record,
Yeah.
because there's the opportunity to experiment so much.
That's fun. So it's
Yeah.
like this record is a lot of new experimentation and things on it as well for you
Yeah,
guys.
lots of
I mean,
layers.
you can hear it, right? Yeah.
Well, you were playing the drummer from Another Mother, that Moog thing a bit. That's like
Yeah.
the weird like, and
Yeah.
we can get into more of that on other songs as well. They're probably more fitting. But
Yeah, and this song is about like the sadness, and you reflect on like, I suppose, I mean, you tell me, but like what is written is that it's reflecting on a riptide that's pulling you from like, I guess, what, childhood to now, or is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's, to me, there's like this in the chorus, like it's the backyard sprinklers, like this like
Yeah, I was
picture
gonna
of like
talk about-
sunny backyard Australia or whatever, you know, I guess anywhere. And then a real darkness about the song as well. But almost like there's this cloud over this experience as well. And then like many times throughout the song, I'm like putting back into a present situation, like the second verse or something.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to like connect dots or like necessarily draw a line through the thing or from one thing to another. It's more just thinking about it. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know, is it about kind of, for yourself, is it quite therapeutic to be able to write about that sort of stuff?
I don't know if it is. Sometimes I used to think it was. I thought it was really good to have, and it is, to have these concise ideas of what a song was about and what an experience was. And I always like looking back on it, but then I don't necessarily think it's any substitute for therapy or sorting issues out on your own. I think some people say like it's cathartic, and maybe it is. But for me, I don't know. I think I write about it and doesn't change the fact that that thing happened or I feel that way or whatever. Like it's still all there.
It's a cool creative way to journal, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there's benefit to it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
probably.
So, yeah.
Probably. We come into All the Noise. So this is about the collapse of your parents' marriage, or is that?
My parents were like together and then sort of not, and then separated before I was born. But it's kind of like it's about like not actually knowing exactly what happened and like a confusion around that, I suppose, and like trying to figure out. And I don't know if you have this experience as well sometimes where you're like, I don't really know the whole story. I don't really know.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Is that the same?
And
Yeah.
Trying to reconcile your personal history with who you are now is just an ongoing process.
Yeah.
It's the best thing that you can do for yourself, in my opinion. And I think that's sort of spoken through this entire record.
Yeah. Is that, so when because you would bring lyrics to the rest of the band, correct? Is that, and then so when you read stuff, are you sometimes like, wow, this is really cool, like
Yeah.
super relatable,
Totally,
like,
yeah.
and does it spark conversations within yourselves as well around
Yeah.
the topics?
It's funny because sometimes I feel like we haven't internally, like as friends within the band, broached some of the things that
Yeah.
you talk about
Yeah,
until you talk about them.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
I mean, that's part of a ripping Band-Aids off to be vulnerable, I guess,
right,
which is
yeah,
cool.
totally.
There's something there's a mask in songwriting as well, which allows you to like stand behind something. You stand behind a song. You don't necessarily, like, I'm not out there just saying these things to people, and especially on stage, you're like performing, which I think is always interesting that that's probably why we don't necessarily always broach the things.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I mean, it's not me, it's just a song. It's just the song is saying this thing. And that always helps me like disconnect from it a little bit.
I did want to ask about the lyrics in All the Noise.
Yeah.
Because there's also, I wanted to say it's really pretty pre-chorus, super like
Thanks.
really
Yeah.
really pretty. I think that's what you'd say pre-chorus.
I don't know, honestly, who knows?
yeah.
The way that song's arranged is very confusing.
I was actually going to ask, because I was
Yeah.
talking to Ollie about it. I'm like, is it rude if I ask, and tell me if I am being rude, like, where does the chorus sit?
I guess the chorus is "Did you want half of me?"
Yeah.
like that I would call a chorus.
But
Yeah.
then the hook is the riff.
The hook is the
And
verse
Yeah.
and riff, like that's and that's what it starts with.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah, because I was listening. I listened to it because I've listened to this album many times now, and the same thing happens every time. I'm like, maybe that's it, and then like, and I think I've got it, and then I'm like, wait, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's kind of awesome in the way that it's like kind of
Yeah.
takes you on this weird sort of disentangled journey, if that makes sense.
I remember Mike when we were making it. It was like the verse. That's the part of the song that like we make the biggest. Like
Yes,
and it was
that's what
already
it
kind of
feels
like
like to
that,
me.
but
That's what it feels like to me for sure. That the verse feels like the chorus to me.
Yeah.
That's
in a
new
way.
to us.
That is new.
We've only got 2 songs in our entire discography where it's like the verse is the hook.
Yeah.
Or the first thing that you hear is the hook.
And it's so pretty.
I like
it's
it.
so pretty.
Thank
I
you.
like. Yeah, it's really.
The more that hurts as well is like that.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, or something. If you want to say that.
Yeah.
We're just sort of breaking down. When reinventing the wheel.
Yeah, the lyrics, I found the boy from the middle of nowhere, showed him what they made me, and he opened his mouth for a chance to tell me Jesus killed my baby. What does that? Yeah.
It's it's heavy to hear.
What does that mean?
I mean, the boy from the middle of nowhere is my dad, and and I'm like the baby, like, and it's just sort of like destruction, or like not destruction, but it's like look what like the church did essentially. Like that's what it's about.
Can I
quite simply.
ask, are you still like, do you not have any attachment to the church anymore?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. Yeah.
And your parents?
Sort of like
Yeah.
in a roundabout way, but not the particular like church that we're a part of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's still like in the family in some ways, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Impossible to say. This one I think is my second favorite on the album.
Cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah, the lyrics, I'd give up whatever to change with the whatever. Is that intentional for whatever?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It is literally the harmony stack from whatever put into that song and just like time shifted.
It's just in that one part, right?
In the second verse. It's just the same key. So we just
Okay.
dropped it in.
I love it when I'm right about stuff.
Yeah, it's good. That's honestly a good pick. I was
Yeah.
wondering if people were actually going to notice it.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Lots of little Easter eggs. I'm very
Yeah.
excited to
I'm
start
so-
picking
it
them
has
It's
to-
apart.
really good.
How to Kill Houseplants. That's my favorite on the album.
It might be mine as well.
Is
Like,
it?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's up there for me too.
It's
Yeah.
my first or second.
Yeah. Just tell me. I don't want to even say anything. Can you tell me about?
Like all songs written, I wrote that with Sarah Aarons. Like all the ones I wrote with her, were just in her lounge room, just hanging out for the day. And I just had the chords for the chorus and was just messing around with those. It's kind of how we work. I would just play something silly on guitar, something noodly, and then
Yeah.
we would build from that. And we were just on the Juno, and then we were like working out that synth riff, and she like eventually played the one that like went over the chorus, and I was like, that's perfect. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing. And she's got a really incredible voice. Like she's naturally a very talented singer. She could have absolutely done that if she wanted to, like been a performer. So she hits really wild ranges, which is super hard for me to then follow. But it
Like,
results
whoa,
in really
turn it down.
yeah,
Yeah.
like whatever I wrote with her. I don't know how we can do that live. To be honest. I'm pretty worried about it. I'm already panicking. But the house band is the same. It's like this got crazy like jumps and things, which I think is really cool. And she's a big fan of like hitting a note and just staying on it. So the third part of the chorus sort of pedals.
Yeah.
And she uses that to really great effect.
And then, so you're writing with her. Do the lyrics come after or during?
No, we
or-
definitely did
yeah.
a lot of lyrics together.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that write with, it's not like that. You know, like just let me take it home. But Sarah's just got like, she's so invested in the song. And her and I spent so much time together. Probably wrote like 10 songs together. So we got to know each other really well. And so she knew what was going on in my life like as intimately as anyone. And so we can like share stuff.
That's really special.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's a much, I don't know how you could have someone else write lyrics in our scenario, like for this band that doesn't know what's going on, because
Yeah.
our lyrics aren't just like whatever, like fluff.
No.
I'm not saying that people's lyrics are fluff, but you know, like in a lot of music,
very
where it's like it
personal.
doesn't matter so
Yeah.
much.
No,
It's
totally,
like we're just like
totally.
catching a vibe, but like that's not
Well, it's
the case for
very,
us.
like, I feel like for your band is very lyrically intended. Like, there's so much intention behind every word that is spoken, right? Like, so it's like the same sort of things of like reconciling the childhood and
This is more. I think that's more like it's more like a relationship in a lot of ways. Like the idea of like trying to, killing a houseplant is so easy to do, no matter how hard you try. To look
yeah, my
after it.
Lily is not cute at home at the
No,
moment. Yeah.
they never are.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people have it right, but fuck them. And how that's similar to relationships. It feels sometimes we like I feel like we're doing everything. Like, what more could we possibly do? That's like, it's just the environment that we're in that we can't fix.
It's a great metaphor, like overwatering or underwater, like trying to, you know, you do that to your houseplants, so you do everything to try and keep this thing alive, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Is that like
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's more concise.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
That's exactly it. Nice.
Yeah. It also like gave you a sense. I don't know if you guys listen to much Rule, but it has like this Rule sound to it on that
That's
song.
funny you say that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny, like we've been hanging out with Rule a lot lately. He was
really?
Rule both in all of us were in LA for the last few months, and I sent him the album, and he's worked with Sarah a lot, and I was like,
there you go.
tell me which song you think is Sarah's song. And he guessed 3 out of 4, including Houseplants, which is so funny. Just because like him and I spent so much time with her separately.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
know her.
It's such it's a beautiful song. I've
melody.
listened to it many times. It's you should be very proud of that one, I reckon. And then we move into Falling Apart. Similar themes on how to kill houseplants. For myself, that's what I took from it. Do you?
I think so. It's like we talk about this. It felt like a cop out almost. It's like you don't want to use what happened in the past too much as an excuse for things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a good way to explain what like behaviors you might be exhibiting. But it's like weird to be like, I'm like this because of this.
Yeah.
Like, my mom, you know.
And you blame, and then you
blame.
hold on, and you don't progress, and you
Yeah.
don't grow.
Progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you like lay it at the feet of someone else, which I think to like the person you're talking to, like, so I did this thing, but it's this person's fault. It kind of like takes away any ability they have to.
It's a responsibility thing.
Yeah. Like if someone says that to you, like I only did this because of my childhood. Like you can't really go anywhere from there. It doesn't really give you like any space to work through things. And so that's kind of the song's a bit about that feeling. Yeah. And talking about experiences and things.
Can't Afford to Lose You gives me a Paramore vibe.
True, that chorus. I
Yeah.
hear that for sure.
Yeah.
That's sick.
That's true.
Yeah, and I know that you've covered Only Exception, was it? Yeah. So are you Paramore fans?
I'm not really a big. I
Yeah.
like Paramore, but I don't listen to it much.
Yeah. I'm a fan of their type of music. I've been sort of into pop punk and like the Run for Cover Records era of like modern punk and emo. And I've always drawn comparisons in terms of the lyrical content of a lot of like bands like Modern Baseball, Tiger's Jaw, when it is this like very emotionally forward and lyrically charged songwriting. That I feel there's some comparisons to be drawn for sure.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Personally.
Was there an intention with when writing this with that?
I don't
at
think
all?
so. No, I mean, I don't think we've ever listened to that sort of music together.
Together,
you know?
no.
Yeah,
It's always
okay.
But I
been.
know how much you like it. But yeah.
Well, yeah. Is that
That's-
which one? Did we say which one was your favorite off the album?
No, I don't think we have.
but-
But my favorite at the moment is The More That It Hurts.
Okay.
And I think I'm just being like a contrarian because no one else has said it so far.
Yeah.
But it is like it's been a fairly consistent like favorite.
I can attest that he has been pushing for it and liking it for a while.
That's nice though. If nobody else is going to do it,
Yeah,
somebody's
I
going
know
to be.
Pepper loves it as well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So Much Taller is one of those songs that's up tempo, but then has. Would you read like a deeper meaning? How did that song come to be? Like with ballpark music, right? Sam will bring the rest of the band a song, and then they'll put their bits onto it.
Yeah, totally.
How does it work?
That's much the same as
Basically,
us.
Okay.
This one was co-written with Jackson, Daywave. And yeah, that's how I remember it. Was,
Yeah.
You guys basically had a full song demoed. And I remember playing over this one a lot by myself. I loved it. I mean, I find as a drummer, it's probably just a lot more fun to play the quicker songs.
Yeah.
It's more energy, easier to make less mistakes, at least less noticeable ones.
Yeah. And is that the same for all? Like, so you'll always bring the song first, and then the three of you will put your bits on. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And then we did it like Ash and Pepper said a while ago, like piecemeal, like across the globe. But always the best stuff happens when we're in the room, and that's often like the parts will get thrown out that were there, but it was more just like the process of learning the song for everyone individually and coming together, understanding it, and then once we're together, we work it out. There's just no sort of substitute for that.
Yeah,
In
it's
my
like
experience,
the bones are down, but then the meat gets put on.
The More That It Hurts. I mean, I just got The Less I Know About It, The More That It Hurts. Is The More That It Hurts? No, estimated deliveries long distance.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
More That It Hurts, is that also got.
I think so. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's like feeling just detached from. It's definitely about relationship and feeling like you don't really understand. Like what's going on. Yeah, a lot of long distance.
No, totally.
Throughout this album, yeah.
Because I feel like that the less I know about The More That Hurts, I can totally relate to that in so many different ways. Also, it doesn't have to be like a romantic relationship. It can
true,
be
yeah.
platonic and things as well, you know? Yeah, we do get Decimated Delivery, which is about long distance. And like,
Yeah.
not to talk about myself, but I
please
know
do.
all about long distance
Yeah, of
relationships,
course.
and it's fucking hard.
A lot
right?
of work, hey?
Yeah,
Yeah, real.
Have you experienced long distance as well?
Totally, yeah. I'm doing it right now,
You are?
I guess,
Yeah.
technically. I've never dated someone that I've lived in a different city to, but that's also in part because I moved to the city as I started dating. So maybe to a lesser extent. But no, we're faithfully practicing long distance relationships every time we're on tour if
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
seeing people, you know?
Friends and
Yeah.
or family as
It's
well.
hard.
or
It's not just, it's not
Yeah.
just romantic. It's everything.
absolutely,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so homesick last couple months.
Really?
Just like had been a year since I'd seen my mum, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that,
yeah.
even that relates to this for sure.
I love you the most. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've never heard piano. Am I wrong?
Ever in your life?
No, yeah, ever. What is this instrument? Yeah. No, like, I mean, on your track, like, especially with opening a song, right?
Never like a piano ballad. Like, there's
Yeah.
definitely piano, but it's used as like a little feature, you know, as a riff or something. But that's the first song with it's fundamentally a piano
Right?
song.
And it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like,
It's really nice to.
who's playing?
Our friend Alex Kasnoff
Okay.
is playing
Yeah.
on the track. I learned to. I felt like I was like, oh, maybe I can, but no.
You should.
I will learn it.
Yeah,
To be
yeah, yeah.
and play it live.
That's what I was going to say, because it has to be played live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
But
it's so
I didn't do
beautiful.
it on the recording. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But that's I love that.
I love that
Great
you can
solo.
hear like the pedal in there as well. Like it sounds really like
In
raw.
in the demo, it was just an iPhone recording in like a pretty echoey, lively room. So then when we recorded it, there's just like so many mics around, contact mics, room mics, and it's
Yeah.
just all in there. Like
And
it's not
so-
really mixed to sound clean.
Okay.
The other song. Yeah.
And Alex, does he write that?
No.
Who wrote the piano?
I read it with Sarah Aaron.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it started as like a guitar riff that's almost like that.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
And then it sort of she mimicked it and like and sort of took it another place.
That's what I was going to say as well, because I always want to try and get the terms right. And I'm like, I know guitars have riffs, pianos have riffs too.
That's it. So yeah.
Certainly.
Piano melodies.
And then, we're in August, which is our closing track. And we can hear Pepper on this quite a bit, right?
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
pepper, especially that like last sort of whatever you call it, a melody, split the other melody. There's
And
a
we can-
technical term for it.
And I love that you hear her be saying, if that makes sense, which is obviously
Yeah.
the title of the album.
The last words of the
Yeah.
But
record.
I think that's
are
so
the title.
clever, because
Yeah.
at the start, before I listened to the album, one of my first questions that I was asking myself was like, why was it the opening track and the closing track? And then I listened to August and I'm like, okay, well, that's why it's the closing track.
yeah.
Like, that makes so much sense, you
Yeah.
know? Pepper is on backing vocals throughout all the songs, but in
Yeah.
this one, you can really hear it.
Yeah, it's
Like,
awesome.
what's the intention behind
Well,
that?
we both did it. We both sung that part. Like I wrote that last outro line the morning of the last day of tracking, and that was all that was left. I had a counter melody, or that's what it's called, a counter melody. I had one already, but it was like just stepping on other words. So we went in, both her and I went and sung it first. She went and sung it after. We were both crying singing it because I think it was just the last day of. It was just a really hard day, I suppose. And then I don't know. We just kept mixing her up and me down, and I am actually singing that line, but it's mostly just Pepper. I'm just there to add a bit of like whatever, and it just felt like it was an answer to something else, and it's not me saying that; it's someone else saying that in a way.
I mean, it's amazing, and it's an amazing album. What the purpose behind, if that makes sense, is the title. Why have we called it, if that makes sense?
Because it's like something I say a lot. I think a lot of people say it, but it's when you say a bunch of shit. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's almost like dismissing your own ideas. It's like a way of like taking any gravity out of the words you say, the way you feel, simplifying it. And it was almost like a response to feeling like there needs to be a theme in the album, or like, what's it about? It was just like, I don't know, just a bunch of fucking things I'm not really sure of, just figuring it out.
Okay. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally.
It's like-
I don't really know. Like,
Yeah. I said it at the start. I was like, this is how
Yeah.
I'm going to do it, if that makes sense. I was like, well, that's really confusing, but okay. What's the intention behind the artwork for this album?
The idea is that first of all, we wanted to be on the cover. I remember Ash and I talking about it ages ago. I was like, why don't we just blur ourselves out so that we don't have to pick a photo that we all feel great about? Like, that is purely a practical thing.
Yeah.
And then it sort of led more into like, let's be moving, let's be like active as a group. We're doing this thing together, moving through space, because that was like representative of what we feel like we're doing
Yeah.
in LA, this like big journey together, stepping out to cliff together. And then yeah, like so much of it came together after that. Like the stylist Annie was amazing. Like put us in these colors that just really worked.
Yeah.
Cole's an incredible photographer, and that sort of overlanded. But yeah, that was roughly the idea going into it. Yeah.
Very cool. And I guess my last final question will be: is this your favorite album that you've released? So far?
Hands down for me.
By far,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And why?
I don't know. You can't really spend 3 years on an album and it not
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, this is the first album where I'm taking us so much more seriously. I feel like without overstating it, I guess it feels the most like we are a group of professional musicians now. And before now it felt like we were almost hadn't quite figured out the job.
Yeah.
But now definitely it's like no, this is it. This is the thing.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. That makes.
Gotcha.
Ruined.
Yeah.
It's ruined.
So I've got fortune cookies. They're viewer submitted questions. Have a go.
I don't think I've ever opened a fortune.
Really?
Really?
Just one of those.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
Maybe.
Oh, I really would.
How the fuck? Did I?
I might have to throw you onto the bus, dude.
Oh, dude. I'm going to throw myself under the bus with this
So-
one.
What is
Yeah.
Oh, do you want me to go first?
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
Is it true that you sometimes listen to Spacey Jane after a night out solo?
What?
Yes, it's true.
Really?
I don't know how you knew that.
I know everything.
I don't know how the cooking knew that. Have I said that before? God, that's great. Yeah, I sometimes like, I don't know what it is, but it's when if I'm really drunk, I'll be like, it's always listening to it as it, not myself.
Yeah,
And I'll be
yeah.
like, what's it like?
You're that blacked out. It's like I'm just not in my own body right now.
Yeah.
What do you think though? Like when you do listen to, or if you can remember.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. It's good. Yeah.
It's all right.
Cool.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Or like, I often will critique it. I'm like,
Okay.
how the fuck did I do that?
Yeah.
But
And then you text yourself and you're like,
yeah,
"Bro."
don't do that again.
Yeah.
Just learning. It's like
Exactly.
recon now.
Yeah. And Kieran, what's yours?
I've got who is the diva of the group?
Oh. Yeah. I'll learn that.
I mean,
I think it's within my rights given the job title.
that's what I was gonna say. Is I think stereotypes exist for a reason. That's all I'll say.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, not naming names.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry.
you,
No,
Matt.
I never said.
Love you,
No,
Matt.
no.
Caleb's the diva.
Yeah.
But it's not.
You just,
It's not unjustified, is what I want to say after. Because I don't want to get myself in trouble.
you're not in trouble.
Because obviously I
you
love
couldn't do anything
Caleb.
to get in trouble.
But I think that singing in front of people is a very difficult job. I'll look
Yeah,
into your
God,
eyes
yeah.
while I say this.
100%.
It's seriously fucking hard as hell to just like speak on the mic, let alone sing. So I think that we should all in the tour do as much as we can to facilitate
Oh.
anyone who sings.
I like this.
Especially.
Yeah.
Pepper and Caleb.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on
Thanks
today.
for having us.
It's
Really
so
great.
cool, and congratulations on the album. And
Thank you.
Keen to see you guys live.
Yeah.
Coming touring and all that.
Very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Catherine. Cheers, man. Appreciate it.